work out? I'm pretty sure it's a fun story in there somewhere. It's a nugget in there somewhere.
That's a
By the
fun
way,
story.
by the way,
Let's
uh,
see.
no, I saw him. No, I was gonna say. By the way, that nigga is funny as hell. I've only I went to his play one time in Memphis, Tennessee
Mhm.
for a boxing match. That nigga is funny. Like because I'm gonna tell you, shit, we don't lie in the barbershop. We can be as funny as we want to be, but I say ain't no nigga gonna hear and lie. So I tell the truth. Uh, I've never watched Medea because of the dress, right? Never watched Medea. I said I'm never
Mhm.
because I had a conversation with Denzel Washington one time, right? At the Pan African Film Festival, by the way. And
Okay. Okay.
uh not like, hey Fred, what's up? But you know how you catch a person moving and shaking and you have a
Yeah,
three
yeah,
minute
yeah.
vignette. And he asked me my name, and I said, Fred. He says, the one thing you'll never ever see me in a dress. You understand what I'm saying? And I understand the significance of that. So
Mhm.
I carried that, and I didn't know that how I felt. But when I heard him say that, like 2015, 2016, I got like affirmations, right? Like, oh, okay, maybe this is the right thing.
Mhm.
However, but us as a group went and saw because it was a Friday night in Memphis, Tennessee, and I don't drink whiskey, so I went to the show, his last show, and was in one of his last shows was in Memphis, Tennessee, and that nigga is
Mhm.
fun. I mean, like tearful funny.
It's-
No, I know.
no,
I
he
don't
is. It is.
No, this nigga was clowning a motherfucker in the front row. And if they miss a line, he was like, you know you missed the goddamn line. I mean, I cried. I didn't know it was that funny. I still haven't watched play, but I did
Uh,
enjoy him that evening. You know what I mean? But I love his story, how he came to LA
yeah.
uh, um
Mhm.
and lived in his car, and now he owns half of Atlanta, So yeah, but yeah, feel free to tell the story about
Literally.
yeah, yeah.
um, Interesting enough, my story with Tyler Perry. I auditioned for him 7 times for various different productions, from TV shows to movies and
Wow.
things like that, and never got it. Sometimes I'd be on hold. Sometimes it'd get close. Wouldn't happen. The eighth one happened to be Boo 2, a Medea's Halloween.
Mhm.
I was out working, I believe, like in Orange County. For those of you who don't know, Orange County is like an hour away, no traffic. And so my agent hit me, and I booked out too. And my agent hit me, was like, "Hey, you have this audition. It's Tyler Perry." I was like, "Man, I've already auditioned for Tyler Perry so many times. They know what I can do, man. I can't come back. I'm working." And they were
Mhm.
like, "We'll try to reschedule it." Okay, they rescheduled it for me. When they
Wow.
rescheduled it, then they ended up changing the time. Yeah, they changed the time.
Uh-huh.
Right. They changed the time and wanted me the next time. So it was like a Friday. I couldn't make it on a Friday. I'll do it for Monday. I can do Monday at 4 o'clock. I can do that. Monday at 4 o'clock. Monday comes, they're like, oh, they changed it to like 11 o'clock. Can you get down there? No, I can't. I'm in Orange County. Like no, I can't. So I just was like, what's meant for me is supposed to be for me. If not, I'm not gonna worry about it.
Mhm.
And then they came back later that day, and she's like, well, casting really wants to see you for this. Can you come in tomorrow,
Wow.
Tuesday? And I was like, okay, all right. So after the third time, I'm like, all right, Lord, maybe I'm supposed to go into this, but I couldn't at the time because I was working in Orange County. So I go home and I study. I print out the pages. It's 8 pages. I'm like, okay,
Wow.
let me learn this so that I can prepare. I get up the next morning. I get ready. I go, and I went in there and I walked out feeling like, I killed that. That's mine. I got it. You know how we do as actors.
Yeah.
That's me, right?
Sure, sure.
And later on, I get a call from my agent like, hey, you were casting's choice. They're sending your tape to Tyler Perry. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Thank you. So I was sitting there like, okay, I've been here before. I've done this already. What could I do now? Because I've been in a producer session. I've been in all these different levels of casting, but did not get the role. So what
Right.
can I do differently this time? And this particular time, I got up and I packed. I was like, what is my action step of faith that I can do to put out into the universe, as we say, to really call this thing in? So I got up and I packed. I packed for a week. I packed for 5 days. I got up and I was in my closet singing this. Oh, I remember this song. I was singing "Victory Is Mine." Victory is mine.
You
Victory is mine. Yeah, victory today is mine. You know, I went from Baptist to Kojic. Y'all, it's a long story. Okay, all right. So I packed the next day. They called me and they said, "Hey, we're still waiting on Tyler Perry to make a choice, but just wanted to let you know you're in the running." I said, "Oh, tell them to take their time. I already packed. I'm ready. It's mine. Don't worry about it." And so my agent bust out laughing. She was like, okay. So then later that day, she calls me. She's like, "All right, you're the choice. You booked it." And I was like excited. I knew it. I was excited about the opportunity. It's a movie going to theaters, and I get to work with Tyler Perry. I met Tyler Perry on set. So this is my first time working with him. He moves extremely fast. So the producers were all there, and Tyler Perry's there, and I'm playing his ex-wife. So my scenes are all with him, right?
Yeah.
So he walks up, and I'm like, "Hey, how are you?" He's like, "Hey, I'm Tyler. Nice to meet you. Thanks for being here. Okay, cool. So you're gonna walk up. You're gonna do this. The car's gonna come up. You're gonna get out of the car, come around, walk up. We're gonna have our dialogue like that. All right. Okay, great. So let me get camera A, camera B, and get camera C right here. Like that's rehearsal." Okay, great. So, no pressure. Just be great. Okay, got it. So then I get out of the car, I walk up, and I do my whole little scene. After we do the first take, Tyler Perry turns around, he looks at Mark Swinton, the producers, and he looks and he goes, "All right." So that was the little like, she's good. And then the producers left, and then we finished the scene, and he was like, "Great job." I said, "Thank you." Let me tell you something. Mother had studied and prepared for that. All right, she was ready. And the funny thing is, 7 is the number of completion, and 8 is the number of new beginnings. So that was like my new beginning as it relates to my life in real life. Because after that, my career really started to take off from that new beginning. So that's how I met him. I met him literally walking on set and in the character as Deborah, and him being like, "Hey, how you doing? Great. You gonna do this? Great. You ready?" And then once I performed, he was like, "Oh, you're great. Okay, she's good."
And y'all been working together ever since.
And we've been working together ever since, And then after that, he was like, "I got a show that I want you to be a part of," and I'm like, "Okay, great." But then he was transitioning from OWN to Viacom, and so that's when the show ended up leaving. I mean, he ended up going to BET, and he called me about the Oval, and he's like, "Hey, I got a role for you," and I'm like, "Okay." And now I'm Priscilla, and we're on season 2 of Tyler Perry's The Oval that airs Wednesday nights on BET.
Oh, you the best. You the
Put a little
best.
plug
You the
in there.
best.
Put a little plug.
You the best. Kevin Brower says, "It surprises me to see us Black people celebrating